Hello, everyone. This is Realtor Linda Peltz with eXp Realty. Today, I'm here with Leah, and she wants to share a program about one of my new listings, which is 6050 North San Pablo Ave in Fresno, California, 93704. It sits at about Bullard. It's 2 blocks west of Blackstone, and it has 2 homes on the property. And she's going to share the program that she thinks would work great for it with us. Take it away, Leah.
Hi, everyone. This is Leigh Fisher with RWM Home Loans. I have an office here in Fresno, and I serve the Central Valley and all of California. I can provide home loans for purchase or refinance. And I wanted to share a new program that my company, RWM, has just rolled out. It's called the RWM Community Lending Program. And what's unique about this program is that if the home you're buying is located within a specific area, you as a buyer, if you go through me as a loan officer or one of the loan officers at RWM Home Loans, you can get significant savings on your interest rate or a lender credit to help offset your closing costs, or a combination of both. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick so I can share with you some of the highlights of this program. And share. Linda, can you see my screen that says community lending?
I can.
Perfect. So this program, it is not a first-time home buyer program. So you are getting a discounted interest rate, or you are also getting closing cost credit, either or a combination of both, if you buy a property within a specific area. Now, this must be a conventional loan. You must be purchasing this as your primary residence. If there's more than one unit on the property, you must live in one of the,
on this one. There's 2 units.
Right. You must live in one of the units as your primary residence.
Okay.
There are no income restrictions. So unlike a lot of other programs out there that do offer help, those do typically have income restrictions. There are no income restrictions. The only restrictions for this are credit. You must have 620 or above. Conventional. There are some other restrictions, but for the most part, it's just going to be the property that qualifies.
Okay, so is it like a government program, or is it actually your company doing this?
So we are a correspondent lender, and because of that, we partner with a lot of different lenders and banks. And one of the banks that we partner with offers this program. It's part of their CRA. So they must meet certain, they must provide home loans to a certain amount of people in the communities that they serve. And because we are a partner with this bank, we actually can provide this program to our clients in California. So this is it's a very unique program that
it is. I haven't heard of it
most
before.
Other lenders don't have, because they don't have the partnerships like RWM has with the banks that qualify for this program.
Now, is there a map of the locations to where maybe some of the other properties that's listed out there might qualify for it, or?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and share with you. I'm going to go ahead and share my next screen, this heat map. This is the Fresno area.
Okay.
It actually, Fresno and Madera, I don't have the Madera heat map with me right now. My marketing department's getting me that, but Fresno, Madera, a very large area of Fresno, actually does qualify for this. And I have a program I can run the address through just to double check. So anybody that is buying a home in this area, really, if they qualify for the conventional loan with the very few limitations we have with this program, they really can have significant savings, as much as 0.5% of that interest rate lower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it
adds up.
It really does. And not only that, but this program, we can also do refinances with this program as well. And still, as long as the property falls within this location, and still take advantage of the significant interest rate reduction.
It looks like it covers maybe part of Clovis there a little bit too.
It does parts of Clovis as well. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this I can get a more detailed map. I can also I get just a list of listings as well that
Okay.
they qualify. And it's typically, those listings typically come on pretty much right away from when they come online with the MLS to when I have access to see that it's a qualified property.
Oh, okay.
So, and one of the great things that RWM does, my company, is we want to pre-approve with underwriting every application that comes in. So when I'm pre-approving somebody, I am not only myself pre-underwriting the file, I'm getting income docs, I'm getting assets or bank statements, I'm looking at credit. I do that as a loan officer to pre-approve. But before they even find a property, I'm sending that file to my underwriting department, and the underwriters are actually underwriting approve that buyer. Now, we don't have a property yet because they're still looking. We don't have the preliminary title report or the appraisal, but we are going to give that buyer a certificate from our underwriting department saying that they are certified pre-approved. What that will allow that buyer to do is when they're out shopping with you, Linda, as their buying agent, we can make a 17-day offer on that property
It
because
shaves
they've already
quite
gone
a bit of
through.
time off, doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
does. It makes it a competitive offer, not only on the time stamp, but that your offer that's coming through has my pre-approval, and it has a certificate with the buyer's names from our underwriter saying that they are certified pre-approved. They have been credit qualified by the underwriter. So you already have two advantages coming in as a buyer in this competitive market. Working with me or RWMs, you as your agent, we work as a team to get that offer
Definitely.
stood out and get that offer accepted. And in addition to that, if they're using this community lending program, they also get the advantage of having a rate reduction or using, we can also give them money towards closing cost credits and maybe not as much of a rate reduction.
So it's either or a combination.
Yeah, or both.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So
nice.
we have about $4,000 internally that I can use to buy down the rate or provide a lender credit or a combination of both.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's good to know. This particular property that we were discussing it has two separate units on premise. I mean, it has a main house, which is like 1,400 and some square feet. And then it has a back, what they call nowadays, they call it an ADU, which is accessory dwelling unit. And it has like 1,000 square feet, which is a big unit. And it was on the tax records. So it shows that, it would have had its permits and different things. I'm not sure when they put that ADU in, but it's a nice little unit, and it does have like a breezeway in the back that kind of connects the two homes to each other. And it's actually listed on the tax records as a duplex, which I thought was interesting. So, but it is on the tax records. So therefore it has had its permits, and it is a viable option for a lot of our even investors. But like you said, as long as they're living in one of the units, that's all it takes. So that's a great program.
And most of the programs, now this is not considered necessarily down payment assistance, but most of the programs that help either in down payment assistance or the MAP, the Fresno Mortgage Assistance Program, or they're granting $100,000. Most of those do have a limit of single unit. So this is unique that you do have a duplex or an ADU, and this program still will qualify.
That is very unique. And a lot of those government-backed assistance programs, I mean, they have catches to them. You better read the fine print. Either you have to pay them back or I don't know. There's just different things that they put on them. Yeah, I'll give you this, but you're going to pay like 10 times more in, whatever interest rate or something.
Or you're going to have to pay back the second or third loan. And if you're going to refinance, we still have to make sure that there's enough equity because you've got to pay off those one or two extra loans that were down payment assistance in order to refinance. In the Fresno Mortgage Assistance Program, which is a great program, you get $100,000 towards your purchase price. You have to live in the home for 15 years before that's granted to you. If you move out of the home, you've got to pay a portion of that back. And so you're right. You do, as a buyer, need to make sure you're working with a team that is really clearly explaining the pros and the cons to make sure you're making the right buying decision and the right loan decision for you and your family.
Well, the hard part about, especially the first time home buyers, the ones that's been through it before, are a little more savvy, it seems like, but there's just so much information that we throw at them. And
Mhm.
we just want you to make sure that you understand it totally, right? Not just, okay, well, I caught part of that and part of that, and then whatever, surprise, 2 years down the road, you go to maybe try to sell the place, but you have that one where you had to stay in there for 15 years, and then it's like hearing it all over again, right?
Right.
You're not, what do you mean I have? Why didn't they tell me that? We have told you
Mhm.
that, but we understand there's a lot of information being thrown at you. And
Right.
we just want to make sure you fully understand, what's going to be expected of you and what comes with some of these grants and different things. There are catches, and you need
Yes.
to be
Yeah.
aware of them.
Right. And Linda, you and I have talked about that a lot, just with the really making sure that our clients really understand the buying process, the loans that they're in, the pros and the cons, between maybe two different down payment assistance or first time homebuyer programs, but
Mhm.
really understanding the numbers, all that in, because it's really easy in our industry because we do it every day, kind of throw over some numbers and here's your rate and here's your payment and move on. And maybe that buyer is qualified for a certain amount a month, but they're not comfortable with that payment. So,
Yeah.
it's my job as a professional, my fiduciary duty to make sure that that payment that that buyer is taking on, although they may qualify in the loan standpoint, they're comfortable making that payment. We're
Mhm.
qualifying them as a W-2 on gross income, before taxes, before 401k and medical and all those things. So it's really important for us as an agent, the lender, and the buyers to really work together as a solid team.
That is so true because once we get in on these, we need you to trust us and you need to ask questions. But I think more importantly, they need to understand the process. And the process, yes, does change, from year to year a little bit, but it hasn't changed that drastically to where we still you don't get to go look at a bunch of houses until you get the pre-approval because I'm sorry, people, you have to figure out how to pay for this house before you get to go start looking at houses. What good does it do if you don't know how you're going to pay for it? And the lender typically, not every time, a lot of times people, there's a few times that people actually pay cash, but the biggest percentage of the time, it's a lender that's going to need to be on there. And Leigh would be a great one. You could get a hold of her, you could get a hold of me, but that is always step one is your lender. You have to get your lender put into place because you have to know how you're paying for this. It's not like you're going into a store and picking something off the shelf. I mean, you would know how you're going to pay for that, but you get to take that home immediately. At home, it takes a little bit of time. And Leigh needs paperwork and different things to get you with under the underwriting that she's talking about, and that takes like 10 days. So you've already missed
For
out on those
us,
homes that you've looked
yeah, it
looked at.
saves about 10 days on the purchase side, but when I do it ahead of time without the property, the there's the pre-approval, I can get a certified pre-approval out in a couple of days because they're not
Nice.
looking at the property and the appraisal and all and the prelim and the title and the homeowner's insurance. All those other things take more time in the loan process, but that's
Mhm.
why doing a certified pre-approval, when they do their pre-approval with me initially, I can get them a pre-approval right away from me if they want to go look for a home today. Within a couple of days, I can have that certified pre-approval certificate, and that allows us to write a 17-day offer in most
That's
cases.
very cool. I mean, you can't even hardly get a cash offer through escrow within, I mean, 10 days is pushing it. I mean, because everybody's got paperwork, everybody's office,
Mm-hmm.
and desk is busy. So 17 days for a loan is just really, 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 really good, people. I just want you to realize that you're not going to find anything much better than that, but you have to do your part, get the
Mm-hmm.
paperwork into Leigh so that she can get it submitted to her underwriters and shave that 10 days off the transaction because typically 30 days is kind of questionable sometimes getting it through some of these loan companies and different
Mm-hmm.
things. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's why, and once again, I talk about the partnership. When we partner with, Linda, you as an very experienced agent, very experienced, and you're a go-getter. You go get it done. You represent your sellers in the best way. You represent your buyers in the best way. You're always looking out for their best interest. And as somebody buying a home, that's what you want. You need a full-time real estate agent that is super experienced and does a lot of business. If you're working with somebody that's part-time or does 1 or 2 transactions a year, they just don't have the experience to be able to support you, help you, and get your offer accepted.
Not only that, but get it accepted, but get through the transaction. There's a
Yeah.
lot of that. I don't think a lot of times, your clients, buyers, sellers understand how much you're covering their tushy through the transaction, because there's a
Right.
lot of legalities and different things. And there are some pretty aggressive people out there that, they're your line of defense. They're their wall in between you and the big bad wolf, that you're trying to, they're trying to get you to whatever, buy it all or give it all to them for nothing or whatever the circumstance is, or the inspections or this or that. And you need to have a good lender on there that's going to work with your realtor and get this transaction to where it works for you, because it's a dicey situation, and there's a lot of legalities that I just don't think a lot of times people understand that's going on. They say, oh, it'll be fine, but they say that 80% of the real estate, the ones that end up in court, somebody suing somebody, is on the for sale by owner type ones that didn't have any representation, because somebody's always trying to take advantage of somebody, and somebody so they say 80% of those that end up in courts is off the ones that's tried to do it themselves without any representation, and then somebody gets taken advantage of, and then they end up in court, and the judges have to untangle the mess that they created. So everybody, get a good lender, get a good realtor, and of course, if you want
lender, local realtor,
definitely, and a good team that works together. So that's super important. Well, Leigh, it was great talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing that program, and hopefully it'll work for some other people, maybe not necessarily on this property, although this property is fantastic, and it'll make it could pay part of their mortgage payment. If you live in one unit and rent out the other one, half your mortgage payments being made. So it'll make a great home for somebody, the right person that wants to live that way. But it'll make a great home. It's all cleaned up, has new roofs, has new flooring, that sort of thing in there, new interior, exterior paint. So it's had all its repairs. It's ready for that suitcase to just move right in, and you can start living your life. I mean, there's always maintenance, but that can be, you can get through probably the first week without having to think about something that you're going to need to do. But anyway, it's going to be a great home. Leigh, do you have some information you could share where they can contact you? And of course, they can always get a hold of me too, and I'll get your information over to them.
Yeah, absolutely. They can find me on Instagram at Leigh Fisher Home Loans, and you can see my name, how it's spelled up top. There is no dash between those. Or on Facebook, Leigh Fisher Home Loans, or they can call me or text me at 559-760-6663.
Nice. Everybody, this is Realtor Linda Peltz. I love having these little conversations. Hopefully it's a little tidbit of knowledge for you that hopefully you learned something out of. My license number is 01997670. If you need to get a hold of Leigh or me, just give me a call, give me a text. I will leave both our information down below. So make sure you check us out and give one of us a call, and we'll get a hold of the other one. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, Linda.